Hey everyone, welcome to stick trick tutorial number 1. Now this video has been coming for a long time. I get so many requests every day for a stick trick tutorial video, and so I really should have done it sooner, but I wanted to make sure that it was really good, and I didn't really have time to make an awesome one back when I first started getting requests for it. So here it is today, and this is tutorial number 1. Today we're just going to talk about just a single stick flip, because I feel that before you start doing a bunch of other stuff, like, this is a good one to get down, because you can incorporate it into a ton of different like fills, and well, not really fills, but like different beats and things like that, and I'll show you how to do that later. Now I bet you're wondering why I have a knife in my hand, and it's not because I'm gonna break anything. It's actually because the trick behind a stick flip is basically the same behind flipping anything. And really, if you get down the concepts to flipping a pencil, or the concepts to flipping a large tube, then at the same time it's the same concepts to flipping a drumstick. And basically what I'm saying is, like, you can flip everything that you want to, as long as it's like in a long line. And so basically, behind a stick flip or a flip of anything in general, you have to find the weight of the stick or the object. And so you grab it, and say you grab it from where you would normally grab it when you're playing. You have to feel how the stick weighs in your hand, and just like flipping any object, you have to be able to apply enough force to throw and spin the stick, but not too much force. Too much force, it flips too many times. Too little force, you get stuck like halfway and it doesn't work. And so the key to a stick flip is to feel how it is in your hand, how much it weighs, and to know the amount of power you need to flip it. And there really isn't much behind the actual concept. Like, there's plenty of ways to flip it. Like, you can just open your hand and do it like that, or you can kind of, the way I like to do fast flips, you push back on the stick with like your thumb, and so you push down and back, and that's how you do a fast flip. But in order to do like just a standard flip, you can kind of just toss it up. You just toss the front of the stick up, and it'll come through like that and come over. So here's a really slow flip. And so you just want to open it, and you need to have your hand open. As soon as you let go, you have your hand open, waiting for it to hit. And you want to be closing your hand right as it hits. Okay, so that's a single stick flip. And like I said, it's all about how much weight. Feeling what you're flipping. Like this right here has a lot of weight in the end. So you have to realize that it's going to take more force than flipping a normal stick, because it sags down. It's not balanced correctly. And so you're going to take a little more force to get that around. Same thing with this knife. It's really heavy in the blade. The handle actually has a lot of the weight too, but you have to know how to get everything. Now, don't go home and start juggling knives just because I did that. That was just kind of to get your attention, and I don't suggest you ever juggle knives, ever, because I don't even suggest myself doing it, but I think it's kind of funny for this video, so I did it. But now, we're going to talk about putting a stick flip into while you're playing. Now, of course, we already talked about how to do it without playing, and you really need to just kind of practice and get the hang of it before you try and add it into your actual playing. But now I'm going to go and I'm going to show you on the kit a couple of different grooves that you can practice flipping it while you're playing. And now a lot of these grooves are going to be left-hand flip. So personally, that's what I'm best at when it comes to playing, is flipping the left hand, because your left hand plays a snare, then you have time to wait while your right hand's playing the hi-hat or playing the ride or playing the crash before you hit the next snare to flip the stick. And so that really comes in handy during halftime, where you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're only hitting on 3, so you've got 4 beats in between to flip the stick. You can also do it in a ton of other different like feels and fills and beats and stuff, but you have to kind of get the hang of the faster flip if you're going to flip it in a faster time. So I'm going to sit down, play some fills, not fills, I'm going to play some beats, and in those beats I'm going to start them slow, and I'm going to give you some beats to practice and to play along to where you flip the stick, and then we'll gradually speed it up so you can kind of get the feel of flipping the stick while you play. Alright, and here are a few tips to think about. Now, when you watch the beats that I'm playing, you'll notice a few things. When I flip the stick, especially on the slow quarter note tempo, I make sure to move my right hand back and keep it there longer. So it's like doom, cha, doom, cha, doom. And so I keep the right stick back when I'm playing a slower groove. Like I'm just like doom, cha, doom, cha, doom. I keep it out of the way. But if I'm playing a faster groove, like eighth notes, that subdivided groove I was playing, there's no way to keep the stick back long enough to flip it. So I move my right hand forward and play closer to the tom side of my hi-hat, and then I flip the stick back. So I'm like... So I just move my right hand forward, and then I move the stick back a little bit, and when I flip it, I make sure I flip it backwards and not forwards. Now that's something you're going to have to practice because it kind of feels weird playing a little bit further out. Like you're not really taught to play right here. And just make sure you pull back far enough so your left stick can come down and up. But you just kind of, I move it to the side, and it gives me room to do all the flips that I want to do. And last thing, when I get into the really fast beats, I think I do it up to like 150 beats per minute, where there's 2 per bar. I can't even really flip it that fast very well. So if you're up to that speed, man, thumbs up to you, because I actually messed up quite a few times while recording that section. But what you want to do when you start playing it faster, lower flips. But like it has to be a fast, low flip. Because if you throw it all the way up here, you're not going to have time to get back down to the snare drum. So it needs to be like cha, 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 right there. So those are the 3 things that will help you play when you're playing a beat and flipping the stick. You got to keep your right hand back so your sticks don't hit. Move your right hand forward if you can't keep your right hand back. And then the faster you get, the lower and the faster the flip you want it to be. Lastly, one question before I start, I know I'm going to get asked this, is whether or not I bounce the stick off the drum. And for this lesson, we're not going to bounce the stick off the drum. You're going to have enough time to just flip it without using the drum. Now, I never really totally bounce the stick, like I don't really do that too much because it's hard to control. Now sometimes I use the force of the stick, like the rebound off the head when I hit it. I'm still in control of it, but I hit the drum, and when the stick is bouncing off, then I apply the flip, the thumb on the back of the stick once it hits. So it's bouncing back off, and I push it and finish the flip. And so the rebound just helps me do a faster flip. But I never do that because that's hard to control. It's cool, but it's really hard to control. So let's begin on the beats.